Yeah, 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 yeah. La. Never.
1, 2, 1, 2. Coming off the top, y'all know how we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know, Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song. Yo, shout the host named Thomas, cause he's never wrong. Yo, shout to John. You know that he's smart and quiet, unlike my freestyles, which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this, cause the people love me. Shouts out to PHP, the ugly. It's called ugly cause it's not professional, but I'm about to come through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting, I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it. My words spray tight. They're getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it. You know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing. Keep it ugly. We ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go. Hey, shout out to y'all. Peace to the whole squad, man. Hope your channel is doing real well on YouTube. Hope you guys are having fun. And it was an honor and blessing to do this little custom freestyle for y'all. Hope you enjoy. Stay up. Yeah.
This episode is sponsored by Mailtrap, an email delivery platform that developers love. Try for free at mailtrap.io.
Hey there, welcome to PHP Ugly 387. I'm your host, Eric Jefferson, and with me, as always, a very blurry John Condon. Hey, John.
Very blurry. My internet has been giving me issues for the past week, driving me nuts.
If this is your first time joining us, we are a podcast that focuses on PHP programming language, the PHP community, and our company, the architect. I don't know why I'm not making eye contact today. I'm not ashamed. Ashamed. You have to go off camera and switch t-shirts. I forgot to. The podcast is made a little better thanks to some sponsorship. Mailtrap.io, honeybadger.io, and our supporters on Patreon. You can be part of the show by joining us in our Discord at discord.phpugly.com. And feel free to suggest a title while you're listening or just chat. Hang out in there with us all week long. It's a thing. But this is your opportunity to be part of the show. I think that's it. Crypto, first time. Hi, Nick.
Hello, Crypto.
All right. Did I get everything, John? Did I miss anything? I feel like I missed something.
I was too busy trying to figure out the lower third things, and they're all out of order, and I'm missing one for Honey Badger.
My brain has been so fried lately. I tell you, I can't seem to get a handle on things anymore. I don't know what has been happening, but man, it has been challenging.
Everything.
Yeah. All right,
hey,
we can wrap the show up. I think we talked about everything. What?
We have. Good job on PHP Roundtable. On Friday.
Yes.
Almost all the way through it, I was trying to finish getting through it before the show, and didn't quite get there. But interesting conversations for sure.
Yeah, and we had another person just join us from PHP Internals, which is always fun. It's crazy to think that people around the world listen and just pop on. Yeah, TJ was on. TJ in our Discord is a regular member of the roundtable now.
I just passed the part where Sarah made him laugh, and the look on his face, as he got her little joke, because I missed it the first time too, and then when she commented on his laughing, I went back. It was just like, oh my god!
I don't remember it. What was it? Was it something you can repeat or not?
Yeah, I can. I mean, she's talking about you guys were having a conversation around PHP and how it's used in lots of different companies, and is used in websites that need a lot of performance and a lot of uptime, specifically around the adult entertainment industry. And she made a joke about the first time she realized it was being used in that industry. She was at a conference, and she's like, and those people need a lot of uptime. And the way she emphasized uptime was just sent TJ for a loop.
Where was I during all this? Because I honestly do not remember that conversation.
It was so quick and subtle. It was funny.
I'm thinking about trying to do a roundtable on event sourcing. You probably remember a few weeks back you brought up a package called Verbs.
Mm-hmm.
And I mentioned, like, is this event sourcing? And we weren't sure, and you looked into it a little bit. And you're like, yeah, this looks like it's event sourcing. And
no, I started off on it's not event sourcing. Like, I was railing on it because, again, not a Laravel developer, and my quick take on it was it wasn't. And then during the show, I actually kept reading more and more about it, and I'm like, oh crap, it is. Like, it's just rewording things, changed some of the language. Yeah, it looks very interesting.
So Daniel, one of the people behind that project, reached out to me on Twitter a couple days ago and said, hey, I'm just listening to the show. Yeah, it's event source. I wasn't sure where he was in the show, but like, had he watched the whole thing to see that, oh yeah, came through to the realization that it is event sourcing. But yeah, I started talking to him. I'm trying to get him to submit a talk to Tech next year, and he seems open to the idea, which is very exciting. But I asked him if he would be interested in being part of a roundtable talking about event sourcing, and he seemed open to that because they have a podcast as well. Him and Caleb, the guy behind Livewire. What's it called? No Plans to Merge, I think is theirs. No Plans to Merge.
I think so.
Yeah. So yeah, try to get him on, talk about some event sourcing. Exciting, man. I even installed event sourcing on I even installed Verbs on the PHP Tech code base. I didn't deploy it to production yet. I don't have any reservations deploying it. Like, dude, I mean, I totally appreciate the knowledge and everything you help me get my head around with the event sourcing. But after that implementation of event sourcing on that other project, which we got working and it's still there, and I'm still terrified about the maintenance of that, dude, using this package was just I want this. I love this package. I do have a problem. I gotta be real with you. I installed it. So he reached out to me Tuesday. I'm looking at it now. I couldn't remember when it was. I think I installed it on. I was doing some work on PHP Tech TV yesterday. I'm like, man, I really want to try out that Verbs package. Let me throw it. Install it here, and I install it. So smooth, and essentially, you set up your I forget the terminology already. What is the terminology? Oh, geez, I should have opened it up.
That Verbs is using,
or
in general.
No, I think it's the terminology that Verbs uses. Events. Well, yeah, events. Duh. Here, let me share my cursor with you. Let's see, share this. Come down here. All right. So yeah, installed it. It was just so simple. So you create an event, and then all you do is every time you want to fill this event, you throw a event listener on it and call it, and it goes. It works like out of the box. I'm clearly doing something wrong. I haven't read all the documentation. I got to go back through it. I feel 100% the problem is on my side, but it creates the records in the database of the event sourcing records in the database for me, but my data, the where the data should be, the data should be serialized, or it's just empty. So it's not, all it's doing is creating a record telling me, hey, you fired the user profile. User edited the profile is what I did. I created an event for that. And it said, hey, you fired user edited profile, but it doesn't give me any before or after data that I was hoping for. So
Really?
I clearly missed a step somewhere. I just have to figure that out. I don't know what it is, but dude, loving this package. Loving it.
I actually
from a perspective.
So I submitted to speak at Cascadia PHP later this year on event sourcing, and was going to deep dive into verbs so I could include that. So if I get accepted, I will do that. However, I made the cardinal mistake of submitting one talk to be chosen, meaning to go back and add some more and missing the deadline.
Well, you can always do the, hey, I'll pay for my own travel and hotel. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
Just like, anybody wanting to submit a talk to tech, check that you'll cover travel and hotel accommodations yourself, and you definitely get bumped up the list a little bit for sure.
A little bit, not all the way.
No, not all the way. No, but it's when it comes down to like the final round, that's definitely something we look at. We got to be honest. So, yeah, especially if you're only submitting one talk, I should be clear about that, because it's hard when you get down to the final round and you have somebody who's only submitted one talk. That's what John's referring to. He committed the cardinal sin of only submitting one talk. Is when you get down to that final round and you have somebody who only submitted one talk and somebody who submitted two, and you're having to pay for travel and accommodations.
Somebody that submitted one talk that rated high in your, so we do a round of blind voting, and if a person with one talk rated very high, but somebody with two talks rated lower, we're probably going to go with the person that submitted two. Right.
And that's just the reality of cost and when it comes to conferences, really. So, yeah, I'm excited. I'm getting a little excited about. I don't want to start talking about it already. Never mind. I'm not talking about it already.
It's on my list a little bit.
Is it?
Only in the sense that we've started reaching out to potential sponsors, sending out emails, getting that ball rolling. PHP Tech 2025 will be coming quick.
Last week or not, but we even had a couple of places reach out to us saying, "Hey, when are you going to have your prospectus ready?" I was like, "We can hook you up. We'll hook you up." Oh, that was fun. Yeah, if you work for a company or organization you think might be a good fit for us, let us know. We'll send our prospectus their way and see if they're interested. We had Michael on our team. Went to Laracon UK. I actually meant to talk to him a little bit about it, see how it was and all that. But he went to Laracon UK and said he had a good time. Really enjoyed himself. He even talked to a couple companies about sponsoring tech as well. I'm not going to say tech again. I'm not going to say it. I promise. But I really have, ever since I started going to Laracons, I wanted to go to Laracon, either UK or EU, one of those two, just to have an excuse to travel abroad for one thing. I kind of feel the same way about Symphony's conference, which is another huge conference. It's usually held, over in France. Is that where it's normally at?
I assume, but I don't know.
It's across the pond from us. I really want to get over there. And we were just talking about how, especially like the EU specifically, just how big PHP is in that area, and like everything not everything. I won't say everything, but a lot of interesting things come out of those the countries around, in the EU and the UK. I'm like, I just want to get out there and just have a feel of that vibe. But I don't know if I ever make it. Jordan says, yes, it is France. I really want to go to a symphony con. I want to do something. I don't know. We'll get there one day. We'll be big enough. We'll be big enough players one day. We can do that sort of thing. But I just don't have anything to contribute. That's my thing. Like, I feel like if I went to something like this, I'd want to be able to speak, which I'm nowhere near being able to speak about anything. Not that I'm not good at it. I really dismiss a lot of things I know of. Like, I don't think I know anything that anybody would be interested in hearing about. And I know that's a common thing you hear from potential speakers. It's like, I don't have a topic to talk about. I talk about stuff every week, so I can definitely talk.
No problem there.
Yeah, I should really try to get a couple of talks together and try to contribute. I mean, that's my thing. Like, it's just the fact everybody you go to a conference and everybody's so appreciative of the speakers and the work that they put behind their talks, and just like as like very niche as you think a talk might be, there when you go to a conference, there's like a big group of people are like, yes, I needed this solution, or I needed this idea, or I needed to hear this. I gotta get there, man. I gotta get there.
Speak on anything. Speak on verbs or event sourcing and take that time to learn. I mean, it's an awesome excuse to learn something new.
Yeah, I should definitely do that. But yeah, if you've been trying to get into event sourcing and you happen to be fortunate enough to be working in a Laravel code base, check verbs out. It quite simply will not get any easier to use event sourcing than verbs. Now, I haven't totally fleshed it out in as somebody who has a little event sourcing experience and understanding, some of the things and pitfalls and stuff, where verbs lies in that spectrum of needs. But from what I've seen, if you're trying to get up and running with event sourcing, check it out. It's really worth the 15 minutes it'll take you to implement. So
TJ says verbs made event sourcing make sense, which that's the important part. Having a way to comprehend the concept of something and verbs making it easier will make you want to use it.
Yeah. And it was funny, even when you were talking me through it and we were implementing it on that project, I kept thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, I feel like I can create a command to do like a lot of the scaffolding for when I have a new event I want to track and all the different things I need to do. I feel like I could create a artisan command to do all that initial setup, and then I would have to go through and maybe do some fine tuning to it. And that's kind of like what this is.
Which I'm sure you could have. I think going back to when I was first showing you how I was approaching it, there so many times we start an application and we have an idea of the database structure already in our mind. We immediately put that database structure in place. We immediately have our models, especially in the Laravel world where everything is a model tied to a table. I shouldn't say everything, but for the most part, Laravel developers especially think in those terms because it's all active record and easy. My application that's not in Laravel is the same way. A lot of active records, so I'm not putting it down. It's just the way it is. What I was having you do is build your aggregate root without having a database structure at all. And I think that was initially throwing you for a loop. Like, well, where's the data? I'm like, it's right there in your events. But how do I access them? Like, through the aggregate root.
That's a good point, because even when I was using verbs, that's a really good point, John. because even when I was using verbs, and like I said, I clearly missed a spot where verbs isn't catching the data I needed to catch. That's what it was. That's what this is missing. See, this is why we get together every week and we talk this stuff out. So the way we were doing event sourcing, which is the, I don't want to say correct, I guess proper way, or the, I don't know, the way,
standard way,
the standard way, the way we were doing it
currently.
is, to John's point, we were catching all the data in the event, and then wherever we had data that we would have to use, like we knew we would use on a regular basis, sort of thing, that would get projected out to another table, is how I was handling that, just to make it easier to quickly access it, right? That table was not the source of truth. The source of truth was always the event stream, right? That was the source of truth of all data. What was in these tables were just projections of that data. And it sounds weird. And really, like, you look at the projections, yeah, it's basically like the data, but it's different, right? Because I'm giving bad examples because I didn't really think it through, but where you would just like normally have a user data or a user table be your model, and you would just try to capture everything that you might need in that user table. And if you couldn't capture everything, you'd create a relationship to another table, and that's how you do it. Well, with projection, with the event sourcing we were doing, and when we were projecting out, they basically became streams of data. It was like, okay, I have a use case where I need this information about the user, the user's pet name, the user's color of car. And instead of like adding that to an existing table, user table, I would just project that information into its own table. And then I knew, if I needed that data, if I wanted to quickly access that data from a projection, I knew what table I had to go to. It is a weird concept, and I don't see that happening here. Again, not in verbs. I'm not deep in verbs yet, so I don't know if they have the concept of projections. I feel like it's
I think they did. It's been a long time. It's been a long time since I've looked at it, but
okay,
pretty sure.
I'm going to side with you on that.
Had I known you were going to be talking about it, I would have dug into it a little more.
And I did try to take more time to look at it before the show, because I hate when I do this. Like, I start down these paths and I haven't really vetted it out well, but I get excited about this stuff. And I was just like, oh man, I've got to share. So yeah. Obviously still need to work on this some.
Yeah, I think where projections help make more sense is when you project the same data to multiple places or into multiple tables.
Right.
To understand the true power of it, to truly unlock, for reporting, I have data over here and I'm trying to pull the data this way and it's faster because I'm projecting it this way.
Right.
For this other piece, if I project it to this table, I can access it faster, for whatever reason. That's the true power of projecting versus, I'm creating a user table. I'm creating that user email table that is a one-to-many relationship.
Right.
You no longer really have to do that.
And I always feel like I need to defend event sourcing a little bit, because I can hear a lot of people saying, well, if I just capture that data in the model, then I already have that data. And it's not about capturing data. Well, it is about capturing data, but in a different sense than you might be thinking. With the projections and projecting data out, and again, I want to stress, that is not the source of truth. The source of truth is the stream, right? So what you see in these projections, they will get updated if a record changes. So somebody the profile I was working on, somebody updates their profile, that gets captured in the stream, and then that update says, oh, hey, this person updated something. I have a projection that requires this information. Let me go update that projection. The key to all this is, to John's point, some of it is data management and being able to group data together for quicker reporting, for example. But to me, the true power is all the data, especially all the data in the projection. I should be able to tell you how the data got to that state. I should have a history of how all that data was created, what created it, where it was created, blah, 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 when it was changed, what was changed. So that's the real kind of, and there are other packages that like aren't event sourcing, but more of like an audit trail. And yeah, I mean, it's whatever your needs are. I am kind of leaning towards event sourcing because it's just such a powerful thing to have in your arsenal.
I just put a new link on our Trello board. But before we pull that up, we should probably thank one of our sponsors. This episode is sponsored by MailTrap, an email delivery platform that developers love, an email sending solution with industry best analytics, SMTP, and email API, SDKs for major programming languages, and 24/7 human support. Try for free at mailtrap.io. Thank you, MailTrap. So check out the link I put on Trello. That was just tweeted out a minute ago.
With everybody, but yes, farewell, Oscar. Oscar has gone out into the world and found new families.
That was a lot of boxes being taped up last week.
I felt so bad. I was trying to get to you to help you out because I do know that was a lot of work. And I really felt like crap I couldn't do it. But yeah, good job getting all those out, by the way.
I'm telling you, the hardest part, taping up the boxes is a pain in the butt, but simply printing the orders for a long time was a pain in the ass. Doing the shipping part, that's really the biggest pain. I finally figured out that I can use LPR. I used to use LPR forever when I was on Linux back in the early days. But now it's all built into systems, right? All your printing. But you close it up, your file, and it spits out the file. So easily grab all my PDFs that I needed to print, run it through LPR. It came out the printer just fine. So that saved me a lot of time because usually when I have a lot, it's open them all in Adobe Acrobat. And then I have my key combination of print, enter, Control W to close that tab. Print. It's just like, and when you have a lot of orders, that's a lot of key press. And you're like, did I miss any? Did I close two windows instead of one? Did I print one twice?
Yeah.
It is a pain.
I get that.
But
yeah, so no, I'll sold out.
Yep. Our little Archie command that we use to run the business. I also have a setup where it'll take all the unshipped orders, throw them into an API that sends it up to the shipping software that we're using. As I said that, I realized the last batch I sent out, I did not update all the tracking numbers, so I got to go do that. Don't. They shipped. I just had your account may not show that right now.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I guess if you're used to it, or if it's a regular thing for you, it's not that crazy. But the shipping cost to some of these places we ship to around the world is just like absolutely insane. I'm like, are you kidding? Like, I'm pretty sure there were a couple places where the shipping cost more than the damn elephant cost.
Yeah. Well, the problem with that is we also don't collect VAT because I don't do that much in the EU. So unfortunately, they then get the package and end up having to pay the VAT and customs. And
yeah,
I'm sorry. I wish we had a better answer for you.
Yeah, me too. I do feel bad. That happens on a monthly basis with some of our subscribers to the magazine. It's like we're trying to figure this out for you, honestly. But yeah, it's
I've talked to a couple of companies, and the amount that they want to manage, it's called IOSS, I think. For us to have a company to manage it, we have to pay X amount a month. And I'm like, well, that's more than I make in any sort of profit off of the magazine. And then on
Right.
top of that, it's hard for them to answer the question of the item has to be $150 or less to be iOS compatible or be allowed to go through
Right.
this system.
Mhm.
And the magazine itself is 160 plus shipping. This is for the physical copy, right? And I tell them, it's an annual subscription, so it's really broken down into 12 individual shipments, but they pay more than 160 all up front, and nobody can give me an answer if that would get through IOSS or not. So,
Mm.
and then on top of
It
that, having to
doesn't
collect the
help.
VAT. Yeah.
Yeah, and like you hit on a little bit, it doesn't help that there's the margins on it are just so razor thin. It's like
Yeah.
kind of hard to use services like this. You
Mm.
figure it out. That's the thing. I think we've talked about it in the past, but we have employees in other countries, from the UK to now the Asian area. Right now, particularly in Japan, but they're still moving around a little bit. And to kind of stay legal and do everything correctly, they have to be, we have to pay like taxes and stuff for that state or that country and handle, like, they get all the benefits of somebody working in that country, even though they're working for a country in the US. So like the holidays that country kind of recognizes, they get to recognize that sort of thing. But fortunately, that service, when you do the numbers, isn't crazy expensive. But the only reason you have to use that service because it's cheaper than you setting, because we can just as easily go and set up the company in these countries as well and just handle it all ourselves. But it's just not worth the effort. We figured out, like, it's not worth the effort until we get to like 5 employees. Like, if we have 5 employees in the UK, then we start to say, all right, we need to set up in the UK because it just makes more sense. But
Possibly. You still have all the time and then the paperwork of filing and
just managing it, right? I mean, that's the other
Yeah.
thing. You got to stay on top of all the laws and everything in that country. Yeah, it's a nightmare. I don't know how these big companies do it.
I don't know either. I think a lot of them are still figuring it out, especially since COVID, and as companies are hiring more and more remote, everyone's figuring it out.
Yeah.
I mean, you had the problem just within the United States of different laws in different states and cities. So for our main employee, I have to deal with being a Maine foreign entity and dealing with Maine paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I still don't get the whole thing where I really wish, because we get asked this a lot, especially at tech. People want to buy things from us because we're there. We should be able to sell things like magazines or plushies or whatever it is we have, and
we can.
it's just like, yeah, but we have to like do all the legal stuff, right? That's the problem.
Well, it's the legal stuff, and then once you do that, then you have to collect taxes on every single ticket you sell, and then you have to file the taxes for that. So your cost goes up.
You have to collect taxes on the ticket to the event.
Yep, that's the big thing. Is as soon as you sell stuff at a conference, at least the way I've read the laws, you or a sponsor, if they are selling at the conference, then it becomes a commercial conference, and then you have to collect sales tax on the ticket sales versus an educational conference where you don't have to.
Oh, I guess that makes sense, because that is what we are, right? I mean, we're a community/educational conference, because we don't even, I mean, we talk about it and everybody knows who we are, but we don't really pimp PHP Architect that hard at
Right.
tech. I mean, when we're at tech, it's like that's we're PHP tech people. So
we should. Just saying. I'll send PHP Architect a prospectus for PHP Tech. See if we can get them on board to sponsor next year.
Yeah, I hear the owners are kind of assholes. I don't know.
Yep. Especially that one.
We John and I in Chicago last year shared an Uber, and I'm using the word Uber loosely here for reasons, but that was the whole thing. I was like, yeah, I'm the asshole of the company, and I like it. Talking to the driver, I didn't totally agree with some of the things the driver was saying, so I was having a little banter with them, we'll call it. I get a little hard-headed on that stuff. I'm terrible at it. Like, I don't like people in general. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm not a big people person. I have my circle of friends that I enjoy hanging around, but I'm not very social. And I'm not mean. If you come up and talk to me, I'm a pretty okay person. I'm not particularly mean. I don't engage with people or I just don't. I'm not that guy. And yeah, so it's very easy to rub me the wrong way, especially if I don't know you yet. And it's very easy to rub me the wrong way. And when I I can just be a mean person sometimes. But yeah, this show's taking a weird turn, man. We gotta bring it back around.
I wish I could. Man, this week, one of our clients had a big launch of a feature, and so it's been like that's been my entire focus for a week, right? Just trying to make sure that I've done everything that I need to do to be ready, and it just takes so much effort. And still, the day comes around. The funny thing is, when they first started talking about this new feature, it wasn't a development effort. It was all being led by product and some other people, and they have access to the database, so they're pulling all the numbers they need, and they were using Google Sheets quite a bit and did some really interesting stuff with that data. It was all about analyzing a user's account to try and help them use the product better. And sorry, my dogs are going crazy. I don't know if you can hear that. Yeah. So the big thing was there's no development effort. We're doing this, and it's going to be great. And then as they've done more and more with it, then it became oh, by the way, we're launching this on the 20th, and we need to have this, like this laundry list of things done, and in like a 2-week period. I was like, what happened to no development time?
Yeah.
But
I've been trying to play around with, and kind of related to what you're talking about. I've been trying to play around with Airtables a little bit, which is this service that's out there. Have you ever used Airtables?
Mm-mm.
You know what it is?
Not a clue.
Okay. If somebody in Discord want to correct me on this, I am willing to have a correction because I don't get it. I mean, it's a spreadsheet. I think it's a spreadsheet that wants to be a database sort of thing, which is kind of what platform is as well.
Are you talking about the platform to build next gen apps?
Is that what it's called? Airtables? I don't want to trash talking too much, but yeah, I think that's it. Airtable.com. Yeah, Airtable.com. Either I don't know how to harness that power correctly, or every time I try to work with it, I'm like, okay, I can do this in a spreadsheet, or all right, if there's a relationship I need, I just throw it in my SQL. Like, it's a table. Like, everything's a table, a database table. which is really
It's in
what's
the
great.
it's in the name table.
I don't get it, man. I don't get it. And the funny thing about it is, I pay for Zapier, and I was trying to get our team stand up. I have our team stand up writing to a Google Sheet, but I really wanted it into something that I could query the data a little easier. You can do a lot with Google Sheets, by the way, dude. Fire up a little
Oh, I
Google
know.
Sheets and fire up ChatGPT and say, "Hey, I have Google Sheets and I want to do X, Y, Z." It's bonkers what the damn thing can do.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm like, okay, so I'm going to do this thing where it'll write to Google Sheets, and I let it write to Google Sheets for about a week or so. And I'm like, okay, I want to pull this in this Airtables and see if I can't do more with the data. So I created this Zapier command to do it. And I just figured it would look at the Google Sheet and say, okay, you've got 45 records here. I'm going to take these 45 records. I'm going to stuff them into your Airtable, which I would have been happy with. But apparently that's not how it works. It treated each record as the job fired. And I ran out of Zapiers, like jobs I could queue up, which I've never had happen before. And it's like, oh yeah, you have to buy more jobs. I'm like, I'm not, but what are you talking about? We should, yeah. I now know this. No, I don't know how. I have a sense of that whole. I got a $5 million bill from Amazon because of an API call or something. I felt like that, but on a budget.
I ran out of jobs on my free tier, and now I can't use it.
Yeah, I've my Zapier has been dead. I think that's one of the reasons why our Trello cards haven't been getting created automatically. Camdes, Notion, yes, Notion is actually really great. We use that. That actually runs a lot of our company. A lot of the stuff we do, including the release pipeline for the magazine, is mostly in Notion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Notion's pretty powerful. I like it a lot, especially once you understand it's a database.
So, what do you mean the Trello? What's not populating?
So in Trello, every week, I couldn't figure out what was going on. I thought I had written a job on a server somewhere that did it, but in Trello, the list for the show would come up, right? So it wouldn't have the show number because again, in my head, when I thought it was a script, I remember thinking, oh, I need to query the database, get the last show number that was published, and then add that to the card or to the list in Trello. And I just never did that. So I just go in there every day. Every day we have a show, I go in there before the show and I just add that show number to it. And it hasn't been doing it for the last couple of weeks. And I thought there was a problem with the script, and I went looking for it, and I'm like, where did I put this? Like, where's the script at? I can't find it anywhere. And I was in Zapier and I saw it. I'm like, oh, I made a Zapier job. Damn it. So yeah, Zapier was creating the list in Trello.
So is that reset next month?
Yeah, it resets next month. Yeah, I should pull it out. Let's hear from another one of our sponsors, Honey Badger, for us.
Splunk like querying without having to sell my kidneys? Nice. That's a direct quote from someone who just saw Honey Badger Insights, the new observability tool from the folks at honeybadger.io. Insights is a fresh approach to logging, performance monitoring, and observability. It's a bit like Splunk, Datadog, or CloudWatch logs, but with just the good parts and a reasonable price tag. Honey Badger helps you gain deeper visibility into what's happening inside your applications, letting you drill down into the details and step back to see patterns in your data. You'll love how easy it is to query your logs and events and create quick charts and dashboards. The best part is, that it's available on Honey Badger's free tier as part of their comprehensive monitoring suite, which includes error tracking, uptime monitoring, status pages, and more. Get started for free, then pay as you grow, or choose a 30-day free trial to unlock the full power of Honey Badger right away. To get started, visit honeybadger.io/plans. That's honeybadger.io/plans. Thank you, Honey Badger.
Speaking of querying data, Honey Badger actually saved my butt recently.
Yeah.
John and I, yeah, you were helping me with it. John and I, we kept getting these Honey Badger alerts of this condition that would happen on PHP Tech TV, where I forget exactly what the alert was saying, but it was essentially saying, "Oh, hey, I have a null field where a null field shouldn't be." I'm like,
You're trying to call something on null.
right, okay.
Yeah.
And we're like, "What's going on?" And both him and I tested it, and every way we tested it, it seemed to work. We couldn't figure it out. And so John finally realized when he looked up the particular user who the user never reached out to us. The user's information was in our Honey Badger alert. So John looked at the user's account and was like, "Hey, they're not associated with the conference." I'm like, "Weird," and went and checked Stripe and like definitely bought a virtual ticket because people can still buy the virtual tickets to get access to the videos even today. We just had somebody buy a bunch of them recently, and so he was like, "All right, they bought a ticket, but it didn't associate him with the conference." I'm like, "What is going on here?" And I started looking at it more, and sure enough, it was my blunder because I didn't think things through. But with the conference this year, I realized how many places I was doing things where it was dependent on the current conference. So I had created a scope in my model that says, "Hey, get current conference." But before that, I was kind of hand coding stuff. And what I had done initially for the API endpoint that was creating the account when somebody purchased a ticket was basically say, "Hey, look for the conference that's active and give this person a ticket. Associate this person with that active conference." But in my wonder, I decided, okay, I don't want a conference to stay active because this year, last year and this year was the first time we used PHP Tech TV. Give you a little backstory. And so up until this year, we just had the one conference that was on there. But I wanted to be able to add videos to this year's conference without it being available for people to view yet. And so I'm like, okay, don't show the conference in the library. Don't show the conference in the library until it's marked as archive. Basically, archive says, okay, people can start viewing these videos. And I thought I was even smart enough to say, I went to my little scope and said, okay, my get current conference will include the active conference or the most recently archived conference. That is the get current conference. That way,
Okay.
buys a ticket, they still get associated to that conference. Yeah, I wasn't using that scope in the API endpoint. I'd gone there and I looked at it. I'm like, it was still like hand coded, to the model. I'm like, damn it, I missed it here. So I fixed that, and that took care of that issue.
That's good.
Yeah, I like that. I love stuff like that. I mean, it was a stupid mistake, but I just
That
chalked
happens.
it up to legacy code.
There you go. It's so old. MVP code. It was,
There you
last
go.
last year's MVP. We got it there, and then we have technical debt we have to pay off as we continue to build on it, right?
That's true. Good call. And yeah, kind of still want to, because we have plans for. I'm gonna tease something, but I'm not gonna tease too much. We have plans for the user profiles this year or next year. So on Tech TV, you have a user profile. There's nothing in it right now except your ability to update your email address, because that's how you log in to Tech TV. We've had people request password login. I'm considering it, but there's reasons why we're doing the magic link. But next year, if things go well, we might be utilizing, or you might be utilizing user profiles a little bit more. I'm really kind of excited about it. So once I start making some progress on that, maybe we'll talk more about it, but not talking too much about it now.
We have work to do. Let's just say that.
We have lots of work to do.
We always have work to do. Man, always so much to do.
All right, let's pull up our supporters on Patreon while we talk about this a little bit, because we are running a little long here. I feel like we've been pushing Patreon supporters further and further out. But thank you, all of our supporters on Patreon. We had finally got a face reveal of Buttery recently. We can't share it because it was shared with us on our. Oh, actually, it was in our Discord, wasn't it? Was it Discord or Slack?
I don't remember. Don't remember where I saw that at.
Anyways, there is a face reveal out there of Buttery, and it's awesome. Completely not what I thought Buttery looked like. I felt like
now I know what you thought he looked like.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it in Discord. So it must have been in our Slack channel, but yeah.
No, it's in Discord.
Is it?
Back on June 7th.
Link it. Throw it in the Trello board for everybody wanting to know what a Buttery crumpet looks like.
Copy message link. Doop. Go to here. Go to here. And then we'll pull that into there.
Awesome.
I went the very long way around to do that.
I noticed. That took you a while. I didn't really think it was gonna take you that long.
Well, I was dropping it into Trello so that then it would come through that way. So that it's in the show notes. You see how my mind thinks?
Yeah, so this is PHP Architects Kalen, who has recently decided to be a nomad around the world. No, he's just moving a couple places, and then he's in Japan right now, and he got to meet Buttery. It was really exciting. So,
had a beer together and everything.
If you're listening to audio podcasts, there's a picture of Buttery up right now. So go to the stream. I don't know what to tell you. Check out the show notes. There'll be a link in show notes.
There you go.
Yeah, but Buttery is our longest Patreon supporter.
Longest
Patreon,
running, yep. Patron. Yeah.
Longest active. I think he's the first one. There may have been one person before him. I'm not positive, but definitely the first one or two. I would have to go back and double check. But yeah,
let's just give him credit. It's been this long. Yeah. Give him credit.
To say he was our first.
Yeah. I don't know if anyone knows the answer to this. I'm still looking for an answer. RDS recently, if you were still on MySQL 5.7, they forced RDS extended support onto your RDS instance, which drove the bill for one of our clients through the roof. I have since converted all of their databases to 8.0. But then I was curious. I'm like, did that remove the extended support? So I added that column to the list of databases, and they all say they have extended support. And I can't figure out how to turn it off. And through everything I've read in my Googling this morning, It was if you're on the latest major version, you're not charged. But I don't know if that's you don't have to have extended support, or it can be on, but you're not charged for it, and
Mhm.
you'll be charged if they, go to 10 or whatever the next major version is. So if anyone knows if there's a way to turn it off, e- again, everything else says to turn it off, you have to turn off the database. I'm like, well, that doesn't that doesn't help me in this case. So
So when you created because you created a new instance, right?
I used their blue-green deployment to basically spin up a replica of the original database on an 8.0, made sure that it would stay up to sync, meaning all the inserts, updates, and deletes worked on 8.0. I did not do the next step of, oh, why don't I connect to it and make sure all my queries work? Because I'm fairly confident all the queries are very simple, select from table versus, crazy joins and stuff. So
Mhm.
once I let that bake that way for a day or so, I then flipped the blue to green. So basically they're now on 8, and then deleted the 5.7 instance. So technically it's a new instance, but because it was a copy of the original, I don't know if that's why it follows and stays on.
But it wasn't a copy of the original. The data was a copy from the original, but it's a new instance. It's MySQL 8, not MySQL 5.7.
Right.
Yeah, I'm wondering. So the blue-green process, if you feel free to explain it a little bit, because I'm not totally sure I understand it, but my understanding of it is that the blue-green is the green is the one that's online, the blue is the one that you're bringing up. No,
Other way.
other way around. Okay, the
It should
blue's
be.
the one that's online.
Doesn't it make sense that way though? The green, go. This is the one that's in production.
Yeah,
But no,
it's
it's
that.
not.
So the blue's in production, the green is what you spin up, and it, the initial steps of it is just making sure that does the data sync both ways?
Well, no, because you're not supposed to connect to the green one and do any data change because it's still
Right,
a replica. So
right.
it's not
So it's
bidirectional.
basically a replica,
Right.
and then you make a decision. Okay, let's try cutting over and see what happens.
Right. So you can make that's where I'm not 100% clear on that. Maybe you can't insert into both. That just wouldn't work. But you're supposed to be able to test out uh, schema changes. But
See, this is where
I,
you're going to
I,
lose
I
me. I can tell you right
yeah,
now.
I know. I don't know. Because that's not how I used it. I only used it in I want to upgrade to 8.0 and not do anything fancy with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How else to use it? I don't know.
Okay. All
A
right.
blue-green deployment copies a production database environment to a separate synchronized staging environment. Uh, by using the RDS blue-green deployments, you can make changes to the database in the staging environment without affecting the production environment. For example, you can upgrade the major or minor DB engine, change database parameters, or make schema changes in the staging environment. When you're ready, you can promote the staging environment to the new production database environment with downtime typically under 1 minute. So I guess that makes sense as far as schema changes. So you can change add fields to your tables, um, and then promote it back, which would make sense if you like. There are some tables in one of our clients that when you try to add a column, it takes 4 hours to add a column.
Oof.
So in this case, it would make sense. You have a replica, you add the new field to it. When that's done, you promote that, and that becomes your new production database while still staying up to date because it's a replica.
So how is it different than just having a replica?
It's not. It's the automated portion of it. Of you can uh, flip back to it. So I don't know. I haven't done replicas in RDS. Can you promote those to being production?
Yeah, that's the whole kind of selling point on them.
Yeah.
So Kalen is actually even asking a question. I was wondering, it's like, how can you change the schema but keep the replication going as well? Like,
I don't know.
that.
No, I don't know. That's a
Okay,
good
fair
question.
enough.
If it's doing, I don't know if it's doing statement-based replication, then it would just use whatever the default values for those new columns are,
Mm,
versus row-based, which may not work. So maybe the blue-green handles that for you.
gotcha.
I don't know.
This is why, if you want to make a sick amount of money, become an AWS engineer, because nobody understands how half the crap works there. You just kind of press a button and pray that things go how you think it should go.
And
AWS is
thousands of dollars, thousands of dollars later, you're like, I screwed that up. Maybe I
yeah,
shouldn't have.
yeah, exactly. It's like,
I hit the wrong button.
Damn it. Yeah, we recently did something similar, where in Kalen, the person asking the question in Discord, it was the one who performed it, but AWS's new databases, RDS databases, will do encryption at rest, and we've had a client that we've been trying for a long time to get on the encryption at rest configuration, because it just checks a lot of security boxes when they're trying to pitch to the customers they pitch to. They have to fill out these security reviews, and that's one of the questions: is your data encrypted at rest, right? And so it's always been like a pain point that we haven't been able to check that box. And they recently essentially did what John did, but didn't upgrade the version of PHP, because we were a little concerned about, this is a very old code base, a lot of legacy stuff in it. So we were a little concerned. We figured we'd do the blue-green deployment for upgrading from 5.7 to 8 at another time. But for now, we just wanted to get from the unencrypted at rest to the encrypted at rest. And I guess it went pretty well. So that was always good. We did it a little different.
I was up that night.
Yeah, I think we all were up that night. We shut down the site because we wanted to. We just did a restore, and we didn't want any data being written to the database while we did it. So we kind of cheated a little bit, but so I guess we really didn't do a blue-green deployment. But
you couldn't for the encryption at rest. That's why we didn't do it that way.
Yeah, you're right. There was an issue with that, huh?
That was one of the caveats to a blue-green deployment, is you can't have one set up with encryption at rest and the other not.
Right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you guys kept talking about doing this upgrade. I'm like, just do a blue-green. It's easy. Like, I've now done it 10 times at this point. And Caitlin pointed out, yeah, it says right here in the docs, no go because of this.
You can't do this.
I'm like, okay, you've proven me wrong again.
But have you tried? Yeah, that's one of those things, like, you fight the temptation of jumping online and asking every 15 minutes, how's it going? Where are we at? How's it going? Like, you fight that temptation because that's all you want, or at least for me, that's all I want to do. And then I just sit there and I just watch Slack. I'm like, okay, nobody's talking, so that's good, right? Like, nobody's pinged us. Nobody's pinged anybody. I think we're good. I think everything's good. And then eventually I fell asleep and woke up the next morning. I'm like, oh, this is either gonna be a crappy day or a good day. It was good. I gotta. The guy pulled it off. Pulled it off well. Okay.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, I think we're good, John. You got anything
Yep.
you want to touch on?
No, I had a couple other things written down, but maybe I'll save them for another time.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. That's fair. All right. I do think that's going to do it for episode 387. Did I say? Am I lying? 387? I am not lying.
You are not.
Eric,
Every once in a
I'm
while.
Eric. You what? What?
Eric, I'm Eric.
Eric. I'm Eric.
And I'm
Eric.
John. And I'm John.
Keep it ugly.
Ha, keep it ugly.
What?
How many times are we gonna do that?
Keep it ugly. Keep
Keep
what?
it ugly? Keep
Ugly? Keep it. No. Ugly.
1, 2, 1, 2. Coming off the top, y'all know how we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know, Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song. Yo, shout the host named Thomas, cause he's never wrong. Yo, shout to John. You know that he's smart and quiet, unlike my freestyles, which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this, cause the people love me. Shouts out to PHP, the ugly. It's called ugly cause it's not professional, but I'm about to come through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting, I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it, my words spray tight. They getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it, you know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing. Keep it ugly, we ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go. Hey, shout out to y'all, peace to the whole squad, man. Hope your channel is doing real well on YouTube. Hope you guys are having fun. And it was an honor and blessing to do this little custom freestyle for y'all. Hope you enjoy. Stay up. Yeah, come on. Hey.
You're muted. You're muted. You're still muted.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
So after show, for anybody interested, I forgot to talk about something I wanted to talk about, and I just never got around to it. And I don't know if you noticed and didn't say anything all week, but we had Father's Day here in the U.S. I don't know. Is Father's Day like a world event? I don't know if it's a world event. I know it's like Mother's Day, right? Or Valentine's Day. They're all kind of fake, right? not like yeah. Something happened in the world where we decided. But like,
it's a money maker.
Yeah. So it was Father's Day this past weekend, and SoCal Kid. I've always been very fortunate in the fact that I've always been very sure about who I was. I'm not like this tough guy, like macho man, but I know who I am. And I've always been, like a straight heterosexual dude. I mean, it's never anything that's like even crossed my head. As such, I'm very comfortable with that. I'm very comfortable with my sexuality and all that. So I'm always fine, like I've always been fine joking with other people about it and, whatever. But one thing my kids used to do a lot when they were younger is they like painting my nails. And it was just like, whatever. I didn't care. It was just a thing they did, and they thought it was cute. So SoCal Kid decides, she wanted to have some little nostalgia and decided they wanted to come up and paint my nails for Father's Day. So they came up. The problem is, like, when they were little kids, they had this like cheap little nail polish, and they do a crappy job, like get a couple strokes on and, whatever. The SoCal Kid is actually really good at it now. And it's got like these like concrete sort of nail polish that don't just fall off the next day by themselves. It's crazy. So they'd come up, they had painted all my nails. And I left, so that was Sunday. And didn't really care about it. My left hand bothered me the most because they had put sparkly nail nail polish on. I'm like, hey, okay, that's a little much. Like, if you want me to like not care that it's on my hand, I can't have sparklies. But they did sparklies. Now, I kept it on for a couple of days, but I think on Tuesday, maybe it was Wednesday. Yesterday it was Wednesday. One day, we're in a pretty serious meeting, and we're having a conversation with somebody in this meeting, and I reach up to grab my mic, and all I see is sparkly nail polish. Did you notice?
No.
Oh, you hadn't noticed? Oh, so yeah, I reached up and I just see all this sparkly nail polish. I'm like, so yeah, I took all of this off. I did keep one nail painted. So it's not just like taking the nail remover and rubbing it off. No, you have to first file like the top of it so like it gets a rough surface. Then you take nail remover on a cotton ball and wrap it in tinfoil because it's got to stay on for like 5-10 minutes. It was a pain, but I did keep one nail painted. My kid has no training on this or anything. I'm actually really impressed with this. So I did ask for two things. I asked for them to do our company logo on one finger and an elephant on the second finger. I took the company logo off because it's the older logo and it was an orange nail. So I'm like, I'm taking it off. It's the older logo. I don't like it. But the elephant, again, no formal training, just something she likes doing. Look at this elephant, man. Look at that. She free-handed that. Like, that's not like a sticker or anything. She just painted my nail. Like, what do you want on this? I'm like, put an elephant on there. And she painted a freaking elephant. So I still have my elephant fingernail. I'm going to probably keep that one around for a while. Yeah. It was...
your fingernails don't get in the shot that often. So the one time I saw
you...
you...
when I reach for the mic, though.
Yeah. So... when you're moving fast, and I saw you like scratch your nose earlier, I thought it was like almost like a black and blue nail, like you bruised it or something.
That would be more macho, wouldn't it?
I was out there with a sledgehammer and I just bashed the crap out of my finger.
Yeah. So yeah, I got a little elephant on my nail.
That's cool.
That was fun. Probably shared too much there, but yeah.
Nah, my boys were into painting their nails for a little bit, and yeah, again, don't care.
Yeah,
it doesn't bother me if that's what they want to do. If they think it's fun or whatever, whatever.
Yeah,
not a big deal.
That's the thing. It's not like it's going to like change the tide either way.
I know, but you get some guys that get so offended by it. I'm like, why?
Yeah, I don't get it. Yeah. All right. Cool, man. Well, I think
Raquel, did you paint those? Raquel Kid posted a picture in Discord. I was wondering, are those pre-done or is that hand drawn or
no? That's SoCal Kid's hand because I can tell by the tattoos, and this picture doesn't even do it justice. That
fish is awesome.
Yeah. That fish. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't even do it justice. The fish is crazy good.
And that's hand painted?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, she has all the little get up and stuff, and she also gave herself that tattoo, by the way, the heart one. I think both of those is her because she had a point time in her life where she wanted to be a tattoo artist, and so being supportive parents, I'm like, okay, I'll buy you a tattoo gun and a bunch of fake skin. Yeah. Don't buy your kid a tattoo gun unless you want your kid to tattoo themselves. Because that's what they're going to do.
Is that supposed to be an anchor on the index finger?
No. It's a zodiac sign.
Oh, never would have got that.
I forget which one that is, but yeah, it's a zodiac sign. Yeah, I think she's tattooed herself like 2 or 3 times. They're all small. Like I think these 2, and then she did one down on her ankle. Daniel is in YouTube, is on YouTube watching us. Hey, Daniel, I talked about you today, man. Appreciate you. She waited until she was an adult. Yeah, young adult, but yes, that's true. She did. I mean, she could have easily gone paid Amazon. So, but yeah,
No.
it's cool.
Now I want to know how much that tattoo gun costs.
Oh, they're cheap. They're scary cheap on Amazon.
Are
It's
they?
the skin. It's the fake skin that was like that stuff is kind of freaky. Yeah, it's like you put it and you can tattoo the skin, this fake skin. It's crazy.
Never would have known.
Mm-hmm.
My kid just walked in. Now he's running away. All right, we got to end because I gotta go check on him because he's not supposed to be doing what he's probably doing because he hasn't done his chores yet.
Gotcha. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us.